I think,
White
or
Claw
they could like, you
vision?
could get something out of a TV.
Yeah, where you could like get your sample Wonka chocolate bar out
I
of the
think
TV
so.
Wonka
I think it
vision.
was called that. I like that this is the way that we are starting.
This is the way it's
The
starting.
episode.
Oh yeah, hey sluts.
Reaching
Hello.
for food and drink through a screen.
Yep.
Why haven't we figured that out yet? It's
Talking
2023.
about White Claw vision and trying to pass it through the screen.
Like, when can I download a pizza? You know?
Or a friend can text me some chocolate. Like
Yeah. You can text somebody money using Apple Pay. Why can't I do that with food or
well,
drink?
money hasn't been real for years, so
That's true. We're all gonna be living off of digital food and drink eventually.
You wouldn't download a movie. Why would you download a pizza?
The thing is that I would.
That's true.
I always loved that whole campaign. You wouldn't do this, and you're like, I totally would.
It's like, you wouldn't download a car, would you? And Chrissy's like, actually.
If I could, like, do you know how awesome that would be? That's super cool. Hit download and then I have a car outside. That's awesome. I would do that.
Nice. So it appears that Chrissy made huge strides in Fairy Tale, went from like the midway point almost to the end.
Yeah. I was probably like
enjoying
I was
it?
probably about 3/4 of the way.
Oh, okay, 3/4.
Yeah. But I know I literally, it's like probably that much left to read. But of course,
Oh
it's
wow.
Steven. I mean, the last like 100 pages have been jam-packed, and I know there's more to go still, obviously. They are currently, they have escaped, but now they're back in the kingdom, like in the palace this time, following Princess Leia. And she's leading them to the flight killer, I guess. We haven't gotten there yet. But oh gosh, the whole scene with where she finds her parents' like receiving hall, and it's like covered in blood and like shit and rotting food and like dead bodies. Was like, he literally
So
said there were like
sad.
piles of shit on the floor. I was like, what? They just go like, not only will we massacre these people, we're just gonna shit on everything.
And you know, most of them are like undead skeletons, so like they really had to make a point of doing this.
Yeah, I guess they just told all of the gray people that served them, that's where you go to the bath. Like, I don't know.
Shit in this burlap sack. Why? Just fucking do it. We'll kill
Just
you.
do it. I'll use my limber stick on you if you don't.
I love Chrissy's description. There's just piles just everywhere. Like,
yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, it's very graphic. I can't imagine the smell.
And I love how, like, you know, far away and evil Flight Killer is, even though he's so close and personal to all of the Empis characters. Right. And he's just such a fuckhead. Like,
oh, he's so gross too.
And even the name Flight Killer, when you realize that that's kind of because he tried to like kill all the monarchs, which were the sign of the like royalty and a sign of their like golden age and like reign of peace and how much they were loved by the people. And but because also, he didn't feel that way, he wanted to destroy it all.
Right. But they also very much symbolize and possess magic as well. And he's just trying to like squash all of that out as much as he could, even though he wasn't successful with that. Or killing all of the monarchs, obviously. I'll be honest. So the name Flight Killer is a super cool name. And before I kept trying to think of like, how did he get that? That's such a cool name. Like, he must be this really powerful being, and not that he isn't. I imagine he is pretty powerful, but mostly I think he's more of a conduit rather than he actually possesses the power. It's this other thing that's working through him that possesses the power. And he really only got the name Flight Killer because he tried to kill a bunch of monarchs. Like, that's way less cool.
Yeah, it's so imposing throughout the story, and
Yeah, you're like,
what
ooh.
flight did he kill? Like what does
Right.
that mean? Then you realize it's because he like murdered millions of butterflies.
You're like, now you just sound like an asshole.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is.
And you're gross looking.
I love that like parallel too, which is there's probably a like specific character archetype. I would think of it as the warlock, but the like person that gets, I guess warlocks give something sorcerer maybe, like the person that gets like super powerful without putting in any effort because they're just like transmitting it like from a more powerful like being. Like there's two ways to do that: faith, and like that's the good guys, and like why like they're able to suffer through situations to like get these nice Stephen King good outcomes. And then there's like being an asshole, where you literally sell your soul to like some super powerful malevolent thing, and it like screws your whole world over and like just does its own will through you, but you feel kind of strong sometimes. And that was like very well shown with Flight Killer, without even having to get into like what he's doing or focusing on him like you did with Randall Flagg. You know, very much like Sauron, this entity that we never really see or interact with very much, is still like you really understand his character, fear his power, and don't respect the way he got it and like what he's about. And it was like very well done without having to like spend story time focusing on him.
Right. And actually, the more that I have learned about Flight Killer, the less sort of foreboding he has felt, to me at least, because he is. It's whatever is controlling him is actually way more terrifying. Not. I don't mean controlling truly, like he's just like a complete puppet. He's making decisions, obviously, but
yeah, but wherever he got his mojo.
Right, exactly. It just all comes from this other thing, and or at least that's the sense that I'm getting. So he's actually like way less terrifying, and just sounds like a, I don't know, like a like a sellout. It sounds weird.
Yeah,
a little bit like he's just. I want him to be. I mean, I get, he was bullied, and he didn't have like, I guess, the good looks of some of his siblings, or I don't know, but he just decided to murder his family because he decided, oh, well, I'm going to be king, and the only way I can do it is by using this other thing, because I can't actually do it myself. I have to get rid of all beauty and magic and people and murder everyone. So
yeah,
I was trying to remember the vibe that you get from the recollections of him when he was younger, and like whether or not he was truly abused by his family, or if he just felt that way because he wasn't, you know, pretty. I'm trying to remember like if the book tries to make it seem like he had a poor childhood because like others treated him wrongly. And I feel like it was more that they like smelled the evil about him. Like, and that the only person that didn't was his sister.
Right. I think so far, from what I've learned, it makes it sound like he was just bullied. But I don't know. We haven't, where I'm at in the story, we haven't actually reached him yet. I don't know if he's going to do the whole classic villain thing where he explains, like, this is why I did this, all of these things.
I know you've been wondering.
So instead of immediately killing all of you, I'm going to spend the next 30 minutes explaining why I did it, giving you the chance to kill me. I don't know. But it felt very much like he was bullied, but there were actually more examples of his sister being bullied, like more concrete examples of her being bullied rather than him being bullied. It's felt more like it was the older brother who was the one in line for the throne, that picked on him, I guess, or maybe he beat up on him or something. I don't remember, but I don't know that the other sisters quite picked on him as much like they did their younger sister, who was like beautiful and I don't know, which is like that's such a weird reason to. It felt very Cinderella to me, which is obviously he referred to that, and I don't think
honestly
it's
it's probably on purpose, like
yeah,
because that is super Cinderella.
Yeah,
super Cinderella.
In actually, while I was reading that whole part, I was like, oh, this sounds like Cinderella, and then he doesn't. Charlie doesn't specifically say Cinderella, but he says at one point, and this feels very much like a fairy tale, like in itself.
Oh.
Or like it reminded him of a fairy tale that he knows, and I was like, oh, okay, so it was on purpose.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
If he's a little bit acting like more of a victim than he actually is.
Probably.
I have a feeling that he is. He's just playing it up. Yeah.
Speaking of the flight killer, I think Thomas, we were talking about this like maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, where it almost seems like the character design is based off of like a wait, what happened?
You said his name and he did.
Oh. I was like looking away and I was like, wait, what happened? I almost wonder if like the character design was based off of like a, you know, Lovecraft like creature like Cthulhu with its like tentacly face.
Yeah.
You know, and then he has like tentacles for legs, basically, right?
I don't know. I actually haven't reached that part yet, but that's okay. I had a feeling that it like
when
he's got something weird going on down below.
You've gotten past, yeah. You saw the fair, right? The first fair, whatever they called it.
The first like fair one like fight thing, fight to the death thing. Yeah, they already had that, and but all they have sort of explained or seen so far is that he was wearing some like robe thing. And all Charlie could see was that it was like billowing underneath him, but he couldn't see
in a weird, uncomfortable way.
Right. He couldn't see or tell what was underneath the robe that might be doing that. So I figured something like weird is going on there.
It could be anything.
Honestly, I just assumed that he like was floating or something, and so it was like,
okay.
I don't know. I have no idea what to think. Clearly, he's not just a man walking around on normal legs like everybody else.
Wheelchair.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He seems like the type.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Petra fucking like licking his slobber off of his face.
Yes,
like I hate
so gross.
I hate how good that scene was because it's like, oh, fucking gross. Oh, I see it though, Steven. Like,
and how she like they said that she was like getting off on the murder and the fighting, and you're like, ugh, gross.
And they refer to her, like the people that like know her, and the few points where like you speak to a character from Empus who's like had interactions with Petra, and all of them are like, oh. Like they're just upset that you mentioned her name. Like, yeah.
I've always thought the name Petra is really cool, but now it's just gonna be like,
yeah, that's her.
No, I'm just gonna associate
slobber licking crony.
Slobber licking crony.
Gross. And then I keep
killed
wondering.
So many butterflies.
I know, and they're so pretty. Like, it's a harmless butterfly. What kind of person you gotta be to destroy a butterfly?
Speaking of the butterflies, what I thought was interesting is like, I don't know if this is like a theme that comes up a lot in his books, but you remember in The Stand, like there was a lot of emphasis on the moon. It was, and then also people visiting you in your dreams and like kind of giving you advice or tasks to do. And
oh yeah, that's happening with Charlie too.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, he goes to sleep, he has a dream, and in the dream, there's like Empus has two moons, and then he sees like one of the moons in the sky with all these butterflies flying past it, and then he's basically like given instructions on how to defeat like the undead guards by like throwing like basically like he figures out to put throw water on them. And I don't know, like maybe there is like some sort of connection there, or like that's a theme that King likes to visit a lot. It reminded me of The Stand when that whole sequence occurred. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean that does seem to be a common theme, I think, for him in a lot of his books. Definitely Charlie is having these dreams where he's dreaming about things that Leia has told him. And I don't know. I was thinking, okay, so I remember thinking, reading through this, like, I wonder if The Shining is sort of going to show up, because it seems to show up in a lot of his books, even if he doesn't call it The Shining, you know? But somebody
Yeah,
has that ability of sorts.
right,
Typically,
right.
if you have dreams of somebody instructing you on what to do, a lot of times that like that person has the shining, even if it's just a little bit. And it kind of felt like it in The Stand, that
Nick and Tom Cullen.
thank you. Yes, Nick and Tom Cullen had at least a bit of it. Obviously, we know Mother Abigail did.
Right.
So I kept thinking, I was like, ooh, I wonder if there'll be somebody in here like this, but it didn't really seem like it. I don't know if Charlie having dreams while he's in this other world counts, but I don't know. I'm not really seeing evidence of it beyond that, I guess. I don't know. But it is a common theme, the whole dreams thing in general, even if
Yeah,
it's surfer, even if it's supposed to be The Shining or not, I guess.
right, right. Um, kind of like going along that thought, um, as far as the whole Dark Tower and like how it kind of ties into fairy tale, uh, so obviously with the Dark Tower you have like alternate worlds, alternate universes where people made other decisions, but it's still kind of like the same person. I felt like there was a couple of those instances in this. Like you had Polly, the guy in the real world that was kind of like short and small of stature that tries to take his gold. And I almost wonder if the parallel character was like the evil dwarf that was trying to kill what was it? Like some type of insect?
Yeah, the red cricket that's like, well, larger than a normal cricket, and it is apparently like the king of, what did they say, like the king of the small world or something like that, or like the
Yeah.
small
I'm trying to
I don't know.
remember his like kingly title. Not to
It
send us on a
was
tangent, but it was clever.
he's a snab, or the snab, I guess is what his name
Yeah, that's what it was.
is,
Yeah.
or like his title, snab, which I don't.
Snab.
And then he obviously helps them out
Yeah.
more than once.
But I think that's definitely a parallel, like those two characters.
Right.
Yeah.
When you guys like read Doctor Sleep, there's another like parallel character in that where you kind of have like twins across the different dimensions. And then kind of going along with that, so Charlie is like in his world, he's playing football and training and doing like the strenuous exercise. And it almost seems like that paralleled over with like the games in Empus. It almost seemed like it was trying to show like a parallel between the two locations or like the two worlds that way too. I don't know. I thought maybe there was like a link there between like his football training and then he has like, he's battling the training dummies like in Empus.
I definitely think
I don't know if
so.
you guys thought that those were like two different, sides of the same coin between the two like worlds as well.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I was thinking about that a lot too. I mean, if at the very least, if it wasn't meant to be a parallel, just him having played football and
Yeah,
baseball too, I think,
baseball too. Yeah.
prepared him physically for this kind of thing,
Hmm.
almost like he was born and meant to be
Yeah.
this Prince Charlie.
Prince
I
Well, that's
mean,
the
Charlie.
aspect of the chosen one is that like they're by
right,
default prepared to be that, like because
right,
they are chosen.
right. But he even sort of hints at that or refers to that like even at the very beginning of the book where at least that was the sense that I got, that it almost felt like he was meant to end up here, um because if his mom hadn't died, then his dad wouldn't have become an alcoholic, and then he
Hmm.
wouldn't if his dad hadn't become an alcoholic, then he wouldn't have prayed to God to help his
Yeah.
dad, and then felt in debt to God, and so then felt like he had to help
Right.
Mr. Bowditch get back on his feet, and then all that, everything that comes after that. So almost like it's like everything was meant to be exactly how it is happening, and he
Yeah.
is this chosen one. So I think there's definitely
Oh.
parallels for both worlds. It makes me think of in The
Huh.
Stand too, how there are parallels to like the first between the first part of the story and then the second part
Hmm.
when they are all in Colorado.
Yeah.
How there's like the two tunnel scenes and the two there's at least one other part of The Stand I'm totally forgetting that has two parallels or has
The
Oh,
parallels
well,
prison
to
there
it.
was
scene.
Oh, the prison
two,
scene.
yeah, two
Yeah,
prison
yeah,
scenes, two tunnel scenes, kind of showing that the like light and dark, like,
yeah,
this guy chose the dark side when he was in prison. This guy told Randall Flagg to suck it and laughed in his face.
yeah,
Um, yeah, there was a lot of like duality in that novel, and I guess that's just like a theme in all of his novels is like that duality or twins across dimensions, it seems like.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
definitely.
something that I look for a lot in Stephen King horror is that there's a lot of horrors that are equally terrifying, if not more so because of their reality, that are mundane, like a bully that is a sociopath, or
Hmm.
like being locked away in a prison, that's a real tangible, like scary thing that's like not supernatural. And I think he keeps that in mind when he writes and creates stories, to like always show that the the biggest horror is like what we're capable of, kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna say Kim Kardashian's the biggest horror.
Well,
Wait, she did release
Sorry,
a tape of some.
sorry,
Okay.
my
No, you're
bad,
fine.
my bad. I don't know why I went there.
I liked it.
I
Excuse me.
think our followers agree.
Yeah. Let us know in the
Oh yeah,
comments
We'll put a
if you
poll
think Kim
up.
Kardashian's a horror.
we actually
Is
did
that what
get
we're doing?
another comment when we talked
Oh.
about like our favorite horror movies, like we did like a top 15 horror movies. We got another comment, and I think it was in Spanish. So
We
if
need to
any of you,
Wonderful.
translate it. I don't
yes, whatever it
speak
meant,
or write or read Spanish, but let's
I
put
think
it into Google Translate.
I think it meant promotion. I think he was trying to say like he liked it, like he was going to promote it. because it was like
sure, okay,
promo Cosimo or something. I was like, yes,
That's believable Spanish. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep,
So
that's what he said.
yeah, so up to
Love
2
it.
comments now.
Woohoo! Doing great, guys.
I really like how the magic
oh,
in Empis is like miraculous.
Yeah.
And unless, this is a sorcerer and there's this system of magic and we do these little spells, there's these weird big things. There's the gates that respond to words, and there's the sundial and that mermaid. And I've always really liked magical stories like that. Game of Thrones is like that, where there's a little bit of magic, and whenever it happens, it's weird and miraculous.
Yeah.
And I like a world that's like so magical that magic is more a part of the like physics and the earth, wind, and fireness, like the elements of the world, as opposed to an occupation or a field of study.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be anybody themselves who can perform magic, at least that I can remember in Fairy Tale. But it does seem to just sort of exist. But it's prevalent enough that everybody in Empis knows about it and is accustomed to it. It's not like a weird occurrence, but it's not so commonplace that there aren't wizards around or whatever in these high statuses that can perform magic, but it's still they talk about it reverently because it seems to only be good magic, at least from what I can tell. And yeah, they seem to love it as much as the monarchs almost, but the monarchs themselves seem to be magical in and of themselves too. So yeah, I've loved the way that he's described magic in this world. Sorry, go ahead.
In the first Lord of the Rings book, when they're trying to get into the mines of Moria and they can't open the door, and then Gandalf reads something on it and it says like friend in elf language. I think it's like melon.
It's melon.
I think yeah.
And then it opens. I just want to say that because I liked that. I just read that scene and I thought it was really cool.
It's a good one. I love that. I love that scene in the movie too. It's so great.
Yeah.
But they're like waiting around for like hours, and they're like,
even though the movie he doesn't say melon, it sounds more like
yeah, you're right. It does. Yeah, that is a good scene. I like
just melon.
It was cool because they find these like tree elves, like these elves that live in trees, and they have like these little ladders that they'll send down, and then you climb up the ladder and you can like chill with them like up in the tree. And like the word that they used for like the trees, I think, was really similar to like melon, and you could see like that like he had thought of that, like how the flow of the elven language would go, and there would be like similarities between the words. I don't know.
Like
I
almost
just,
like yeah, almost that trees are friends in general. I don't know. Yeah, at least that was the thought that I had.
Yeah, that it was like some type of cultural like tie within their language that was purposeful and derivative. Like that, like what word may have came first and like influenced the other one.
Oh, I never thought about that. I just thought it was cool that the words like were similar, and kind of like flowed. But like now that you guys mention it, those two scenes are pretty close to each other. Like when they escape the mines of Moria and then they meet the tree elf people. So I mean, he might have intended that you kind of like make that connection. I didn't even think about that. That was cool.
At least for the elves, because I know the Ents, they aren't friendly to everybody.
I know. And then the elves were racist against dwarves because they had a dwarf with them, and they're like, well, we're gonna have to blindfold this guy before he walks through our territory. And I was like, whoa.
You filthy beard shorty.
Dwarves and elves definitely don't mix, and they don't like each other, like historically. And
I was like, where's all this hatred coming from? What the heck?
Just get along, guys. Go on.
Yeah. But that's a different podcast.
That is a different podcast.
We can
Sorry.
talk about it and start it. Another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
Okay. Well, I don't know. This has gone for a while, and people are yawning. Did you have anything else?
No, please don't stop on my account.
Trying to think.
I don't know if I have anything else.
Yeah.
I'm so close.
Yeah.
So close. I'm so close. I always say like, oh, I'll probably be done by next week, and then we get there and I'm like, I only read like one chapter.
Oh, I lagged so far behind, and I can't remember what book it was. Was it Gunslinger? Yeah. The shortest book that we've read together took me like forever to read.
But also that one was understandable though too, because it was very different. So.
Yeah. I mean,
play Monster of the Week with me. You'll have your own fairy tale that you did with your friends.
Yeah.
I'm gonna plug the role playing game again.
No, like absolutely. We could end the podcast and then talk about the role playing game for like 2 minutes, like off air.
We can talk about it on air.
or on air, yeah. Did you?
You're like, please don't hang up. Hang up like it's a call that
like
they're
it's
on.
live.
I don't know why I said that.
Don't leave.
The viewers are like, wait, I want to play with them too.
But yeah, so it's modern day. Magic is real, monsters are real, and you are with a group of fellow monster hunters in some way. And it can be in whatever capacity that, like, maybe something happened in your past, or you're part of an agency, or, you know, any reason for you to be together. We'll make that up when we start. But there's really good characters, like the Chosen One. Like, think of Buffy from Buffy. Like that's a character type that you can play. Somebody who's like the professional and knows how to like deal with guns and has an agency full of resources that he can like go to if he needs stuff. Like, that's a character. The mundane, which is like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, who's just so normal it's a superpower, and like they get benefits that, like, if the monster catches them and you help them, like, you get experience, and like they can just trip over evidence. There's all these really fun, awesome, very inspiring for like character generation classes, and it's the simplest dice system ever. You literally just use 2 regular 6-sided die, and that's every single thing that you do. And it's all narrative driven, so you don't have to like learn like, oh, I know these spells or I know these things. You'll have like 2 or 3 abilities that are like very easy to wrap your head around, and that you'll be excited about doing in the game, and everything else is intuitive based on just what you do next in the story. And it's modern day, so it's, you know, you don't have to think of an elf and learn a backstory to a world. Like, it's this world. It's now. I like to do it in the 90s because I want you to have cell phones, but I don't want you to have smartphones.
Okay, that makes sense. But also it's the 90s, and who doesn't love that? So
exactly.
Oh, the 90s were the best. Yes.
And yeah, so no pressure, but I could very easily like get together. We could make characters. We get excited about it because it's so simple, and like, you know, pretend to be vampire hunters or whatever we do. And again, no pressure. I know role playing is not for everyone, but I am so ready to like. It's the best starter role playing game ever. It's so easy.
I've never even done any, so I am absolutely willing to even just give it a shot and try it and see how I like it.
Yeah.
It sounds
I
super
do
fun.
voices.
Oh my, I've heard some of your voices, so that alone is intriguing enough.
Can we play after work at the skeleton table?
The skeleton table. We would be
There's
too
like a
loud to do it at
skeleton
the
table?
office while other people are trying to work.
What if we start it after work and then like Misha will get jealous because she still has to like work.
Probably would get jealous, and then she probably get frustrated when she got calls, and we were like, "Oh my god, the monster's attacking you! What do you do next?" And you're like, I hit it in the back with a chair," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
I don't know why, but I kind of want to play it at work for some reason. Cause then people will be like, "Why are you hanging out?" And I'll be like, "I'm about to be a monster hunter."
I mean, I'm
Get
fine
out
with
of my
playing it after
way.
work, but playing it at work, like, I mean, we could totally. We wouldn't want to do it while where other people are working. Absolutely not.
It would have to be
Okay.
like
It'd be like
after
in the lounge room or
like
like
after 6 o'clock or something, I guess, or maybe after like 5. Well, no, but Misha would still be working, so. But
which
Jeremy
like
is
we could
in
go
support of
get
it.
we could go get dinner and
Yeah.
eat dinner together and then come back after everybody's left. I don't know if that's okay.
Yes, it is okay. I have
I
the code
imagine
for the
it. I don't
office.
know. I imagine it probably is. I mean, do we all have? I think we all have alarm codes, don't we?
I know Justin does. I don't, but
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, mine's 1-1. Oh, yeah. We all have alarm codes.
Probably shouldn't tell.
I know.
yeah.
I know. I'm just joking.
Question mark
I'm
horse cuneiform.
mine's 6969.
Oh,
Would be.
why wouldn't it be?
It should be.
But yeah, if you guys would
Wait,
like
that's what
to,
mine
I would
is.
love to set that up. And like I said, it's inspiring. Like as soon as you go through the character sheets, you're not going to have a problem thinking about like a person you want to be who hunts monsters like with their friends. Like it's super cool.
Okay. I love this.
And all of the inspiration is from like Charmed, Buffy, The X-Files, all of the Supernatural.
X-Files.
Yeah,
Supernatural.
Yeah, that's exactly.
gosh,
Yeah,
yes.
it's like all of those like shows where you like they deal with a like creature or a monster. That's the structure of the game.
Okay.
Thomas, set a date, and I'll be there.
Yep.
Okay. Nice.
Yep.
Sold.
Should we do it on a Tuesday, or because I know like everybody's got stuff that they do.
No, I don't. I just drink White Claws and pass out.
Nice.
Wednesdays I cannot. Or
That's Ted Lasso day.
That is Ted Lasso day. But there's probably only like I think there's only like a few more episodes left anyway. So that won't last for too much longer. And then I cannot, well, I guess depending on how long it goes. I can't Mondays, but I could
Monday's
if it's
mom
not
day.
like yeah. Monday. For mom. And dad. And my dad. He joins too. But other than that.
Would Friday be a good day? Not like this Friday, but like Fridays in general, if we get one that like is not called for, like called on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Cool. Yay, friends.
Set the date and I'll do it.
Okay. I'll email you guys like drive links to the character sheets. Don't feel obliged to go through them if you're not interested, but they're all I think in that one file. There might be a couple that aren't there. But yeah, they're very graspable and understandable.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
guys, I'm excited. It's so fun.
I'm excited to play at the skeleton table and have him be like a player.
He will be someone. a skeleton version of whatever.
We'll find a way to include him. That's not going to be a problem.
Oh, good.
Can we record it so we have like more content?
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
The logistics of it and like the editing afterwards would be a task, but
It'd be difficult.
I'm fine with
that
it.
will be your weekend-long project, Jeremy. I'm kidding.
Fair enough. Fair
That
enough.
sounds like way too much to ask.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. All right, cool. No, this sounds fun. Nice. Nice.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. And is that the end of the episode?
I think it is.
Okay.
Stay slutty.
Baby. There it is. That's the end.
That's the end. That was it. All right. Have fun, guys. See ya.
Make good choices.
Make the best choices. Bye.